Hello guys, today you join us around circuit de Emilia, Romagna. 3 sectors here at this track, 5 kilometer distance, 31 laps and race lap records in 2020 by Lewis Hamilton W11, 1:15.484. Elevation of 34.4 meters, top speed of 106 kilometers an hour, and a track lap record of Valtteri Bottas with a 1:13 in the same W11. One interesting overtaking spot will be at Emilia. However, the tyre compound's completely soft as C6, C5 and C4, the 3 softest compound tyres you can get. However, the pace difference between them doesn't seem to be as much as it will be across other circuits. However, round 2 at Italy, not something that's been seen on the calendar before. However, round 2 around Imola definitely hasn't. Anyway, you join us for the starting grid here. The starting grid, it's 5 red lights and it's lights out and away we go. The Alpine gets a decent start, goes to cover off the Red Bull alongside him of Nitrix, but the Alpine still leading. Omar might have a little go at Nitrix there, side by side, going through turn 1. Going into turn 1, it's a very fast corner. The Alpine gets a corner cutting warning, however everyone seems to make it stick and all good. They're still going side by side though. The Omar's going to get the place. He's got a track limit though, 2 warnings Omar has. Is he got the place? Maybe on the medium compounded tyres, but we've seen the tyre difference isn't that big round here compared to other tracks of Mercedes, of Skyro. He's going to go down the inside of Omar. Omar going for a fight for P2 is now going to go down to P4. Skyro and the Mercedes overtaking him on the soft compound tyres. Nitrix getting past grip. The Alpine here, they're going side by side, coming into Emilia. He's gonna have the that looked very close to a corner cut, but I think he might have gotten away with it. However, Nitrix has got the lead of the Grand Prix. Oh no, the Alpine's still leading there on the medium compounded tyres. However, they've got a massive gap to the Mercedes behind. Nearly a second there, very close to dropping out of DRS range already. And Imola looking like a really desert circuit here. However, we crossed the line to start lap 2. As the Alpine is still ahead, is Nitrix going to shape up a move? He looks like he's going to have a little sniff down his inside, but won't do anything. However, the Mercedes has now dropped well out of the RS range. That was a very good exit from Omar there, going down the inside of the Mercedes. It's going to be side by side. No, it's not. Omar's going to have the outside line and back out. Henny then, going for the move. Oh no, we're going on board with many people here. Nitrix though still leads the way, still leading the Grand Prix. Fastest sector 1, a 1:20.4. He's flying. However, the Alpine is still right behind him, only 3 tenths, and then the Mercedes is only 0.6. So it seems like the pack is bunching together. You seem very confused because they seem to bunch together for a couple of laps, and then the next lap the gap's nearly doubled. That's going to be Skyro going down the inside. Ooh. That looked to be really close to the Red Bull ahead. However, he has got the move done. That is him into P2, and he's going to break away with Nitrix, pulling out a 2.9 second gap to the Alpine behind, even though his softs may be older. I'm not 100% sure. However, Henny going to go around the outside. He's going to keep it for the inside, 4 turn 3. Henny, very good move if he can keep it. However, that Shen going well off the track there. Definitely not the ideal racing line. However, going through the airport where Hamilton, of course, had his crash in 2021, which obviously ended up causing him to lose the title in that fateful season. However, the Alpine, I'm still not 100% sure how to pronounce his name. If somebody could tell me how to, that would be appreciated. However, it seems like everyone is just sitting behind each other. I say that, and we got Bandov going for a move down the inside. He's going to end up losing the place to the Aston Martin here. Yeah, he will. Just because the soft compound tyres and also losing the time attempting that move definitely did not help him at all. Anyway, Alex coming into the fast right left. Ooh. Emilia, I said might be a spot for overtaking. That looked a bit dodgy. However, he's got the move done. It would be interesting if Stewards will have anything to say about it. The McLaren will be behind for the DRS window anyway, so we'll have a DRS anyway coming through the final 2 corners. Drago getting past the Ferrari with ease. He made him look like he didn't even exist. Anyway, coming through. The fast left-hander. Is it flat out? It might be flat out. We'll be on board with him. Oh, no, he won't. It doesn't look flat out. However, coming through. I'm not 100% sure what part of the track it is, but Omar is going side by side. Obviously, he has got that 5-second time penalty. However, he will be serving it in the pit lane. So, it's not all doom and gloom for the... oh, that's a 5-second time penalty for the Williams. They're in P12 for causing a collision, apparently. Kai. 5 seconds to be added onto his race stop. Well, his pit stop, should I say. However, that is now... ooh, that Red Bull's got 10 seconds. However, that is 7 people with penalties. However, we are seeing the first pit stops. Soft runner of the McLaren coming into the pit lane, as well as Pablo Escobar in the Williams. Very interesting to see if they will get the undercut. However, Pablo Escobar, has he served his time penalty in the pit lane? We should see when he emerges from the pit lane. However, that's Pascal Maldonado getting the track limit warning. I think it's Pascal Maldonado. I'm not 100% sure. I think that's Oliver Behrman as well getting a penalty. However, yes, Pablo Escobar has served. Ooh, Nitrix getting really out of shape, but I think... is that the line to go off track there? However, Pablo Escobar has served his 5-second time penalty. As he got the Mercedes coming into the pit lane. Pit mechanics working hard. Alex also comes into the pit lane. Ooh, that's definitely slowed Alex down. That could potentially be an unsafe release for the Mercedes there, however. Ooh, it seems to not have affected him too much. Alex coming into the pit lane, put on a fresh set of soft compounded tyres. Nitrix is going to pit the very next lap onto a set of softs as well. These lot really love their soft compound tyres, I'll tell you that for free. Every pit stop that I think I've watched, somebody's pitted onto the softs. Maybe a 2-stop is on the cards. To me, a 1-stop makes more sense. However, these are the drivers, and I'm only a commentator, so I wouldn't know. Nitrix coming out of the pit lane. Is anyone going to undercut Nitrix? I don't think so. Yeah, no. Henry, I'm not... oh, no, nobody... Henry is not pitted, so... Nitrix, he's pitted a lap later than some others, but he has made it work. The 2 Alpines on the mediums, so they may be someone to watch at the end. Probably going for the 1-stop. Nitrix with a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. That is with Henry. Wow, that's definitely going to play a part at some point in this race, but that's a 5-second time penalty for someone who is well in contention for not even podium, for the race win in a net P1 with a 5-second time penalty. Going down the main straight, he will inherit P2 as the Alpine ahead is still not pitted. Drago going round the outside. Ooh, I think that was a clean move. I'm not very sure, but Kai, not sure if I'll be happy with that because Dave is now following through. Santan Dave going round the outside through the Ravazzas, I think this is. Yes, it is. Going through the Ravazzas. Dave up to P6, P5 after the Alpine pits. So a net P5. We have his eyes on the McLaren ahead of him. He might do coming into turn 1. Drago's now susceptible. Dave down the inside of Drago. We want to see what's going on. Drag gets a penalty for corner cone, which probably helped him in his quest to defend his position. And Drago's still ahead, but Dave's got the run on him. He's using the RS there, I think. Something. He's using something, and Dave gets the move on Dragos. As Pastor Maldonado gets overtaken by Pablo Escobar. Not a sentence I thought I'd be saying today. However, Henny's ahead of the pair of them as well as the Aston Martin. They seem to be battling that soft track for Henny, but he might get away with that. We're back on board with the Mercedes here. He's going to go down the inside of the Alpine. It seems like the Alpine has just got no pace whatsoever. He seems to be falling like a rock, and as he pitted, he is pitted. He's come out in P15. He will have to pit again. Would have made more sense to put him to the hard to go to the end, but what do I know? Anyway, Sebastian Vettel. Ooh, Henry gets a 5-second time penalty for track limit. Sebastian Vettel's getting overtaken by half the grid. Henny and the Aston Martin getting past the Haas behind Vettel still. As nice. Sebastian Vettel's now dropped to P14, 14 laps on the hard compound tyres as well. People are coming in for their second bits on Mitrix, Dave. This is where the tyre set matters less and less, and now it's more about track position as you emerge into the final stages of the race. That's a very unsafe release from Nitrix there. Henry and the Mercedes rightfully so getting past him. Nitrix, that was really... he's got the move done there. However, post-race Stewards inquiry, question mark. Very, very close race in this between these up. He's going to get past Omar. He's going to make it work. He will, because Omar's... yeah. Oh, no, that suits that. That's Omar having to go back at Nitrix. He's going to go around the outside, coming into the hairpin. Is it that? No, the Ravazza, sorry. Will he have DRS or will the Red Bull have DRS? It'll be interesting to see the Red Bull have DRS. He'll just blast back past him. Great. Nitrix up into P3, and now he has his eyes set on the Mercedes ahead of him. But if Basper can hold up the Mercedes for him, that would be massively appreciated. I feel like it's going to be close. The Mercedes is going to try go around the outside through the hairpin. That's not an ideal line, is it? Not the hairpin. I keep getting confused between the hairpin and the Ravazzas. Going through the Ravazzas, however, he will have DRS, so he will get the move done fairly easily on the straight. Regardless, Basper down to P2. Up to P3. Now we arrived on board with Nitrix trying to get past Basper now. Around the outside through the two Ravazzas. Going to keep it around the outside. If he can get the move done before they're straight, this will be an amazing move. Goes side by side. He does get the move done. Very good move. That's Basper pulling into the pit lane. Not surprising. Is it a mandatory 2-stop? I'm not sure. I think that might be the only reason we're seeing less of the hard compound tyre and more of the soft, but that's Dave getting past the Alpine there. Basper with the fast 6 to 3. Basper's on a bit of a mission here. Down in P8. Interesting to see if he'll get any more places as Henry does still have that 5-second tyre penalty. However, Nitrix has served here. That's Skyro coming into the pit lane. Nitrix, will he follow him in? No, he won't. That's rain you can see on your screen. Intermediates going on for the Mercedes man. Very, very high amount of people coming into the pit lane. It seems like everyone now thinks, well, not everyone, but most people think intermediates is now. The Henny, for example, he's played a very good strategy. He's been on the hards, and now he's going to pit onto a fresh set of inters, so he's not had to make that unnecessary pit stop that so many others have had to, considering they have to pit on the intermediate so soon. However, if anyone could stay out till the end, that would be crazy. Oliver Behrman coming into the pit lane now from P11. Nitrix and the Kick are the only two to stay out. That's really not ideal. That's not what you want at all. Kai's going to stay out. However, if I'm one of them two, I'm looking at it like, is there a reason we're the only two that have stayed out? And there probably is. However, the rain does look to be really light. However, the Mercedes is gaining at a rate of not. Nitrix may have played a very, very bad strategy. He's gained about 3 seconds in about 20 seconds a time. The Mercedes is already on the back of Alex, oh no, you do not want to stay a single second. Nitrix is just going to pray for the pit lane to come as soon as possible to take him out of his misery. The Mercedes has overtaken Alex. That is a second warning for... I'm not sure who that's for, actually, but Nitrix comes in and Alex comes in. They should have pitted last lap. They should have risked whatever they gained from staying out. Very, very... that's a very bad release from Nitrix there, ahead of him. But they have came in for their third pit stop, the pair of them. Nitrix going to get undercut by the very high number of people. Nitrix comes out of the pit lane into P4. That's Alex. He's falling down by the second. Alex out in P6? No, 7. Will it be 8? No, it won't. He will come out in P7, sorry. Skyro is leading, and you want to say with a 10-second gap with how long little Zefka is pitting from P11, doubt he'll get any points. However, with how little's left in the race, the Alpine will have to gain over a second a lap, which is very unlikely. However, anything can happen, you know. It's now Basper. Lots of people are now in worlds of their own because of this pit stop. The only battles are happening in the lower end of the field, in that little P11 to P15, 16, 17 region. Lots of people are very close together, but that seems to be it. Everyone else seems to be driving their own race, or then we go on board with Oliver Behrman, who's in P11. Drove a superb race, but the Red Bulls and Pablo Escobar could do whatever. He's going to go round the outside of Oliver Behrman. No DRS, obviously, because of the rain. But Pablo Escobar overtakes Oliver Behrman for P11 around the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And that's I don't want to butcher the name, I'm just going to call you the Red Bull. The Red Bull! Oliver Behrman gets a penalty for track limits. Probably not his fault. Looked like he was squeezed off by the Red Bull. Not sure if he should be held accountable. However, why have they pitted again onto slicks? They have pitted again onto slicks. Okay, that makes more sense. The rain has stopped. They think now's the time for slicks. Is anyone going to stay out? No. Oh! Oh! Sebastian Vettel! Wow! They've just taken him out. Sebastian Vettel has absolutely killed him. Wow! That was not expected at all. However, everyone's now on slick combined tyres. Sebastian Vettel, rightfully so, has served a 5-second tyre penalty. Should realistically be more, but wow! That's a kill and a half there from Sebastian Vettel. However, Skyro has drove an amazing race. He crosses the line to get P1. Skyro, fast lap on the final lap as well. Gravate, he takes the final lap. He crosses the line P2. Superb race from him. Santander, final podium finisher by very, very good race by them three. Nitrix, very unlucky to stay out that extra lap. Nitrix crossed the line. He will finish P4. Drago finishes P5 for the McLaren team. Basper P6 for the Alpine. Not a bad showing from Alpine today. P7 will be Alex in the Kickstarter. P8 will be Henry. P9 will be Beyondov. Henry gets fastest lap by 16 thousandths of a second. Omar crosses the line in P10. Pablo Escobar, he's going to cross the line in P11 shortly. He does. P11 for Pablo Escobar and P12 for Oliver Behrman. P13 is the Asian guy, Shen. He gets fastest lap by 16 thousandths again. Pastor Maldonado finishes 14. Not Granite Xhaka, what's his name? Kai crossed the line. P15 podium. Skyro wins the Grand Prix. The Alpine gets P2 and Santander crosses the line for P3. That's your podium finishes. Let the national anthem commence.